There is no way that's gonna fit in the wheel well. But we have a couple ideas. We have a whole bunch of fresh Sawzall blades. We're gonna go back in the day like an XJ here. We're just gonna start cutting and make room for these so they can turn. Welcome. We're doing something a little different in the shop for the next week or so because our customer had his eyes set on a certain type of build. A build we do not normally do here. We are doing a full AEV Prospector-like build on this brand new 2024 Ram 3500 long box. Yes, that's an 8-foot box. You can get a lot of dead bodies in the back of an 8-foot box in a zombie apocalypse. So what we got here, we got some of the kit here. We'll look at all of it. We only got so big of tables here, guys. The first thing that calls out, I used to work for an AEV exclusive shop. So I remember when they first came out with the stuff for the Rams. This is hilarious to me. Now they give you the steering knuckle. Probably because they got so many phone calls of people that couldn't drill this out properly and put in this when they did the high steer conversion to the steering. Instead, they're just like, I'm sick of sending knuckles. We'll just have it in the kit. Good idea. It's just like having warning labels on stuff, you know. Don't eat the rat poison. Why? Someone did it first. Had to put a label. We've got new shocks. These are the XP8100s. They look really nice. It looks like instead of the normal Bilstein, it's painted on the outside because it is still steel. So it'll probably survive in Canada a little better than it used to. We've got drive shaft spacers and other rubber brackets. This box is filled with all the little bits for the drop brackets for the radius arms and the track bar bracket. All these brackets are very vital because with this lift, it's going to move the axle forward without screwing up the geometry. Come with me. Here's a big ass track bar. It's a big ass truck. Drag link. Big ass truck. This is the rear suspension. This box right here. We're just gonna have U-bolts. We've got airbag spacers because it has the auto leveling, and we have leaf spring spacers. So technically this entire truck is going to be able to have the towing capacity it already still had. Now, because we're doing 40s, we need to be able to turn them. It's very hard to park something as an 8-foot bed in the Costco parking lot. So you need to be able to do the slow parking lot maneuvers. That's why we've got AEV's PSC accessory kit, because we are gonna add hydro assist to this. Cool. We're gonna get rid of the steering stabilizer and we're gonna put a ram in the exact same location. Then it already has hydro boost and a good power steering system on this. We just have to change out the steering box to have the fittings to run. So what they did, they gave us the bracket and the proper hoses to get down to the ram after we change the steering gear in this truck so that we can turn the 40s and steal the front spot at Costco so we don't have to walk too far. Priorities. In here is one of the things that probably took them the longest. What is this, you say? Well, it's solid. This is one of the front spacers. Yes, the entire truck suspension is spacers, but there's a reason they did this. There are so many different coil combinations for these that to make a coil that works well with every one of them would be next to impossible. So they did a spacer that not only spaces the coil properly in its normal home, it is going to shift the axle forward while keeping the coil where it's used to being. At least that's what the brochure said. Then the fancy track bar is gonna go in and lift from the axle because that's the proper way to do it to help your roll center. All in all, Mike's got a lot of work cut out for him. Right, Mike?
I got a lot of work cut out for me. Tons of work cut out.
Don't worry, Christine. I'll be back for dinner at 5 while he's still working.
Well, at least somebody's taking care of my wife. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
What are we doing here?
That's the piece we're saving, right?
This is a brand new truck, Mike.
Is it?
Well, it was.
Well, it won't be anymore.
Okay, so the suspension's pretty much all buttoned up. We just got to finish a few things on the ground. But all in all, we've got the new knuckle in. We've got the very fancy, very heavily engineered multiple piece track bar bracket. And then it would have been so much easier to drop from the frame, but doing it the right way is worth the effort, and raising it from the axle is the way to do it, so that it helps your roll center and center of gravity. Bunch of sciencey things, don't worry about it. We've moved the sway bar back and down, so it is also forward, because the entire axle has now been shifted forward with the help of both the drop brackets, the spacer in the back of the drop bracket, the special cast spacers for the springs, which have kept the spring in the home it used to live in, and moved the whole axle forward. This has allowed us to fit a 40-inch tire eventually after severely cutting the body up. But everything is staying where it's supposed to and giving us the clearance we need, so we don't have to cut the entire area where the passenger puts their feet. So we have replaced the steering gearbox with the one I showed you earlier. This is the PSE steering gearbox for this, with all the billet housing for the lines. Here are the lines. They have not been finished and zip tied up. They're going to be tied up and P-clipped, secured to the cross brace. They go down to this PSC ram that is living in where the steering stabilizer used to be, which is nice and convenient. You didn't have to weld a bunch of stuff on. New drag link, except for this end. This is factory. The rest of it is aftermarket and flipped on top. That's why we did the knuckle, is so we could do high steer. Track bar, all curved in a way to allow the axle to be more forward and meet up with our new bracket. We have maintained the factory springs, which are tuned specifically for this particular truck with the really heavy boat anchor they call a Cummins diesel. We've got the new XP8100 shocks from Bilstein and AEV, valved accordingly. Once again, drop brackets back here. We've also got new custom bend brake line to go in here. Everything is all factory looking. Spacer for the drive shaft, because it's now more forward, obviously farther than the drive shaft normally travels. And that's the front.
Let's head to the back.
Let's go to the back. My favorite end. The rear is very scientific. There's a block. That's the lift. We're done.
We're done.
But this particular truck gets a couple more pieces because it has the helper airbags. So we have a spacer for the airbags. And then just because we've went that extra bit, we've put a matching Bilstein shock, piggyback, just like the front ones, tuned specifically. They look great. From what I heard, they drive pretty good. We'll know soon. This isn't the only thing we're doing back here. We are getting rid of this giant tailpipe because we have a new bumper and a high clearance tailpipe that's coming with the bumper as a kit. So the towing will be exactly the same, minus you're gonna need a drop hitch if you wanted to tow. All the springs are factory. We've just made it better. So you've heard me joke about cutting a lot. I'm not kidding, there's a lot of cutting. So what we've started, we already had the body off of the body mounts, and the reason we did that is we took all of the major harnesses and moved them to the inside of the frame, because we're gonna need them out of this area here on both sides of the vehicle. So now that they're all moved there, we're on to some of the cutting. All the inner fender's gone. We've spaced this out. The first cut, right here, this piece, recycling center. Both sides, gone. No going back from that, ladies and gentlemen.
What are we doing?
I told you we're gonna have to make room for 40s. The only way I can think of is cut the fender off.
All right.
So I'm gonna cut the fender. Want someone to lower the truck? This is a little high.
A little high. Let's lower the truck.
You don't like being high?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is the blade upside down?
It's not a good start, man. All right, we ready to do this?
See your key?
Yeah.
Put your key.
All right.
Was I supposed to follow the line or just be next to it?
Well, you're close enough.
Okay. I forgot we're playing horse.
Close enough for the women we date.
Yeah, what? Fuck, I keep getting told I'm not supposed to be dating anymore.
Oh. Oh, yeah, shh. Well, that's a hole.
Yeah, that's permanent.
No,
I hope that's in the rights. You were reading the right instructions, right?
I'm pretty sure the body guy can put that right back on.
Sure.
A couple tacks.
No problem.
No problem.
A couple tacks, and it's dead. Good boy. We got this.
What is going on?
Remember, you gotta be like quarter or a little. There you go. Look at that. Now he's gonna cut that off. Who needs that?
Who needs that?
Yeah,
Why didn't we just order it with less?
it's just a circumcision. Yeah, what is that? About a 3-inch circumcision? Yeah, about that. About 3 inches off.
The truck is Jewish. We're bringing it down so we can check the VIN number, verify this is the right truck that was here for this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this later.
What are we doing now?
Oh, we're doing a science experiment.
What's the experiment?
We're going to see if this big-ass truck fits in the drive-thru at Popeyes. This is very vital for science.
For science. Stop, stop, stop! Wait, mirrors.